Welcome to the Boston's Big Four podcast. Cast. New news about music and sports every week, sometimes.
We're back. Episode 90, Boston's Big Podcast. This is our first in-person podcast with a guest in over a year, which is crazy. And we got a big guest with us. We got Chase Murphy here.
You know what I'm saying?
Golden Boy Boston. Been doing his thing for a few
sir.
years now, alongside Danny Diamonds. A lot of big things going on with you. You just dropped your Pauly Rev mixtape.
Yeah, Pauly Rev, the mixtape. Yes, sir.
That was your first project in a little while.
Yeah, since July 2019.
Yeah.
Crazy to say. Hurts me to say almost, but I'm back and I'm better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly.
And you said you explained you've been working on music through the pandemic, and you just got a lot in the vault right now. So you're kind of
Yeah, I'm ready to roll, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm stocked up and ready for war. You feel me?
Yep. And you're dropping it all in chronological order, basically.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My fault. This shit just cut out for a second.
Yeah.
Let's look at
I
audio.
realized there was like a slight echo. I mean, I apologize. I turned on the digital. You should still be able to hear it.
Nah,
Through.
I'll
I'll turn it back on.
it just
I
threw
don't
me
know.
off.
It
just
threw me off,
I just
too.
want to make
Shouldn't
sure
have done
we're still
Yeah.
going.
This,
You feel me? My
it's
fault.
all
back.
right, now I hear it.
Yeah,
I'm
if you
good.
prefer it that way.
And this is hitting red a couple times too. We want to turn this down, right?
Good call.
My fault. My
man.
fault. Just before we
No,
get
yeah,
into
we
it,
don't wanna
you know
We're
what I'm
just
saying?
working out the kinks. It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
good.
I'm the engineer. It's my fault.
all good.
My dog Owen Kinky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, doing my best. We're learning every day. It's also our first time back at the basement, so
In a while, yeah.
working out the kinks.
So yeah, the
Exactly.
Pauly Rev mixtape. You mentioned that those are songs you recorded basically over the last couple of years, and you're
Yeah, I
just
mean they don't need to know that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but yeah,
True.
nah. Some of those are pretty old. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I haven't even told the story yet, so this is kind of interesting. 9 to 5. I recorded with my my producer homie Stimulant. That was in his dorm room. He went to Occidental up in LA. I didn't actually live there yet. I was just couch surfing, like trying to find my spot. And that was like all just like recorded in one night. We had like the mic set up in a bong. We had no stand or nothing. And that was just like something that all just happened in one night. So yeah, just like a little collection of just like different moments over the past like 2 years.
So what was like how'd you get? I mean, obviously you made it work, but like what was the biggest obstacle you found sound wise in the dorm? Did you guys had to pad the walls? Like, what were you doing?
Nah, honestly, like that song specifically, I've always recorded at home, like for a lot of my songs. Maybe not like some of the bigger studio records you know, but yeah, I mean that's like a very low register song. It's like when you're like projecting like this, you get like a lot of feedback in the room off the walls.
Right.
But when I'm like, she been exhausted, you know, like that's like a very low bassier thing that it didn't become a huge issue. And shout out my engineer Robbie Rowland. He's
Big shouts.
He's boys with Knox as y'all just had. But
Oh hell
yeah, that I mean
Shout
that
out
dude's that dude's a magician, bro. He can turn anything and make it sound like radio. So
So you've been out in LA for a little bit.
yeah, since November 2019,
Okay.
official.
And what inspired the move?
Honestly, it just felt like, you know, I don't want to call it no manifest shit, like, but I always had that as my plan, like since before it was even
you
a
can
good
call
plan.
it manifest shit. You gotta manifest.
Yeah,
what
like
you
no
want.
bullshit. I just felt that was like a destiny type thing. Like I since I was like 12, 13, I was like, oh, I'm about to be rapping. I'm moving to LA when I graduate. Yada yada yada. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the stuff
And
you gotta say.
Hell yeah.
boom,
So
you know, fast forward like 5 years. You know, working construction in Boston. I'm a high school graduate. I'm like, damn, like I'm still not in LA. You know, another year goes by. I'm doing the same shit, and I was like, you know, it's about time. Like I'll make this move. So I made the move and no regrets. You know what I'm saying? Even with the pandemic hitting, like just as I told y'all, you know, beforehand, like you know, I went vegetarian since I moved out there. Like I dialed back to smoking and drinking like heavy. Like I rarely do that. Like I just did a lot of personal changes, and the productivity, I mean, speaks for itself. My vault is
Yeah.
infinite right now. So
No, that's awesome. So during the pandemic, did you find that creating was easier? Did you link up with people? And since everything was kind of indoors, I guess once you vetted that you weren't sick, you probably just went and were you banging out material during the pandemic?
yeah, I've been doing like, you know, I'm not gonna say a record a day like for the whole pandemic, but I mean like, you know, there've been streaks in a week, you know, where I do 7 records and shit like that. definitely some down patches at the start where I was getting used to like, fuck, I just had all these shows lined up. Now shit's wiped out. Like that's like, kind of like a hit to my pride. I was like so excited for everything, about to happen in 2020 to now it's like, 2020, you feel me?
It did seem like such a hopeful year until the whole pandemic hit.
Yeah, it's so funny. I did Bright Music Hall for like, it wasn't New Year's Eve, but it was like December 30th, 2019. It was so funny. I left out like in Boston. I'm like, we going into the future. Like it's a new decade. Boom. Fast forward 3 months. I was sitting at home like, shit, man. Right. Like, what's my new game plan? You feel me? But yeah, I feel like I really just like, once I got into the swing of things and like came to terms with everything happening, I was like, you know what? Like I'm definitely gonna make the most of this, and I have. 2020 been a crazy year. Like you seen fucking just mad death, fucking violence and shit, especially in LA. Like shit's been popping out too. So yeah, but I think I really just like locked into my crib and spent a lot of my time just indoors and thankfully focused. So.
And did you make connects during it must have been harder, but did you make connects while you were out there? Did you have people you were in touch with before you moved?
So honestly, I moved to Los Angeles knowing nobody. I mean, I knew like, a couple kids.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, but it was also exciting, like, like just like uncharted territory. I'm big on anime, so if y'all watch One Piece or anything.
No way.
Shut the
Owen
fuck
just
up.
got so excited.
Oh my God!
I'm trying to. I shoehorn anime into every podcast, and here we are.
I'm trying to be king of the pirates, man. Like I gotta be on a new sea. You feel me?
So I gotta tell you something right now, and sound off in the comments if you have any answers to this. I burned through all the One Piece on Netflix, so I'm past Alabasta, but I don't have anywhere to watch anything.
Crunchyroll. What you mean?
Isn't it all subbed? I can't handle subs.
Oh.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
I'm working on it. So if people aren't familiar, sub is when it's subtitled but in its original Japanese. Dub is when it's dubbed in English. I am most comfortable with English right now, but the subs do the translations can.
You gotta get your reading up,
You're
bro.
not cultured, bro.
Oh well, it's not
the English shit. The voice actors are terrible. Like they're not voicing that from their soul, bro. They just reading off the script. Like I need nuts on the table when you saying this.
So
shit,
you're
bro.
anti-Funimation right now? Chris Sabat's our guy.
I'll give it this. You know what I'm saying? You at an age where I'm still gonna roast you for it, but like I grew up like with Toonami, like on Cartoon Network. So like I got into it through dub. So like I gotta I gotta give props to that. That's a great way to like get introduced to it.
Yeah,
but
and
like,
full disclosure, I became big on anime like during this pandemic. I used to watch like Dragon Ball Z and everything.
Respectable.
But yeah, I burned through One Piece. I burned through Naruto. Burned through Shippuden. Now I'm on Yu Yu Hakusho right now. I'm going back in time.
I'm not even hip to that.
Oh, that's also Funimation, but it's good. It's like basically Dragon Ball Z, but it's a different thing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have been talking like anime's gotten so popular, and there'll be like people that are like bitter, like, man, I got made fun of for watching anime as a kid. I'm like, man, this shit, I like this better than TV, bro. Like, I'm glad people like watching this. Plus, the animators need bread, bro. That shit, I edit video and I animate as well, and that shit takes too long. So every animator better be a millionaire over in Japan, and I'm glad the industry's booming now. So,
do you ever watch? So actually, an interesting thing about animation. Have you seen? We'll get back to music, folks. We're on.
I'm here. We could talk anime all day. No bullshit. I really could.
So if you've seen like Attack on Titan, first season's all drawn and they look good. But then in later seasons they use CGI for to make some of the Titans 3D, and a lot of people hate that. And I think it's like
I personally don't think it's make or break, but I like the drawn better for sure.
Yeah, it's got better texture. It's funny. I agree, but I also like, for money reasons, I think it takes way too long. If they're gonna draw all those frames, it's forever. But
it's a master. That's the thing, is like forever. I guess this is a segue back into music as well. But like everything I do, and shout out Damas as well. But like the whole Golden Boy theme is like very, gold standard. And I think when shit takes forever, better chances it's gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? Like I think legacy wise, like their animations are like some of the animes you watch like are probably like 5-10 years old. Yeah. But like they still hitting, and like that's because like a lot of time was spent on making them hit.
Yeah, and if the message is right, like, and that's exactly, it's a perfect parallel to music. Like you can hear music 30 years down the road, and still vibe with the message because it's exactly what they were trying to convey to you, and you're hearing it. Like, I don't know. And you know what's
Perfection
I'm gonna give
takes
sub
time,
a chance.
like they say.
I'm going on Crunchyroll. I'm
You
doing
got
the
to,
sub
bro.
now.
I'm telling you,
This is my thing.
it's worth it. It's worth it.
About to learn Hanji. This is it. I'm becoming Japanese.
I don't understand shit they saying, but I feel it more. I'm telling you, like it's an emotional ride, bro.
Yeah, it makes sense because if you ever, because sometimes I will have the subtitle on, like if I'm doing something that's also loud, and the translation is different from what they said, and it does mean slightly different things just through context. So
yeah, I hear you.
That is interesting. But so have you used any anime influence like in your lyrics? Like do you make references like that?
Yeah, hell yeah. I love doing I think it's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I
I
love.
was gonna say that's something
Yeah.
that's become. I haven't even noticed until Owen started bringing my attention to anime recently. But there's a lot of anime references in hip hop.
It's like nerdy lyrics are tight.
Right.
Like I'll say like both as an artist, but more speaking from a fan's perspective right now. Like when I hear that, that's like way more inclusive. Like I'm like, yo, like you fuck with this too. Same thing when me and you're like, you watch anime. I'm like, yo,
Dude,
like
immediate bond.
like, you know,
Because
like
like you
that's,
said,
tight.
it used to be like if you watch anime, you were a nerd or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it
now
was
like
it used to have a different connotation.
right
So
now
like,
now that rappers are making it hip, it's
Yeah.
like it's pretty.
and it's
cool.
not even like they just started watching it. It's like
Right.
revealing like, oh no, I've been watching this.
right.
And that's when
right.
it's like,
it
yo,
was
like-
always cool. We just didn't
Yeah.
want to admit it. or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. So I fuck with that, and I can't name them off the top of my head, but like, I definitely got a One Piece line here or there, you know, like shit like
Absolutely.
that. I feel like the actual storylines and that type of shit is like so universal, and I apply it to my music. Like I watch that shit, I feel like I'm staying young when I watch that. Like every protagonist you see, aside from Attack on Titan, but it's like it's always an optimist, you know,
Right.
and that's like very much me. And like I always identify with that heavy, because like the dream I'm chasing is so impossible, it's so grandiose, but I know how the story goes. Like if that's what they set out to do in episode 1, I know by the end it's gonna happen. And like
Yeah.
that's
and
very much how I lead my shit.
it's the energy. Like you'll see they're not bitter when they hit obstacles. Like it's
Yeah.
it's funny because like it keeps that childlike optimism of like I'm gonna win. These are my friends, and like it's all
Yeah.
these positive things. And like you said, Attack on Titan doesn't exactly follow that, which is I guess refreshing in some ways, just in terms of shows. But yeah, it's good to have that when you go through life, like when you're meeting people. This is actually really interesting. So back in the day, there were people that like you'd go to a hip hop show and feel like the artist was not approachable after the show. But that's like a huge thing to your brand. If you put on a great show, you seem approachable on stage and you are approachable afterwards. That's like a huge thing. And I think that would grow your fan base a lot bigger. People definitely do that these days. I've had no issues now, but I remember like kind of when I was younger, maybe this was my own anxiety. Like you see people and they appeared standoffish. You tried to go compliment them or something and just kind of thanks. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I never
I
get that. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a man of many mottos and many aliases, but I feel like one of my things I've always tried to live by is like friends, not fans. That's like such a better business model that I
Yep.
feel like way too many artists act too cool for. Like for no reason. Like that just hurts you. Like
Exactly.
if you're not approachable after your show, like what the fuck? Like if I'm a fan going to do a show, like I don't want to feel like that. Like I want to feel like, yo, that's my guy. Like
Right.
we
'Cause
may
that-
not have
especially if
met
they
yet,
came
but
to
that's my
support you.
boy. You feel me?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they paid to come support you.
Exactly.
It's like you really can't make it without your fans.
Yeah,
So.
it's funny. Like I've specifically in Boston, I won't say out of state. Not that I've done a ton of out of state shows, but like I do like some pretty sizable shows in Boston, and like half the people there, like I know personally, like I know
Yeah.
by name. You know, like it's important. Like relationships and friendships, obviously, way more valuable than money or any tangible thing. You know, in life, and it's like, yo, it's important you keep those and it definitely like goes to show like when you're an approachable person and like you actually have genuine friendships with people, like that extends to people you never even met, just being that person, having that reputation.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean I honestly believe that's how like some of the huge artists you see like I believe that's what Drake did. I think Drake made friends with everybody.
I believe that like when you're at that level before you're like we were talking earlier, like how we like to go to more smaller venues, intimate shows rather than big stadiums
Hell
or
yeah.
whatever. And when an artist is at that level where they're performing at small places like that, they have to take advantage of that intimacy and be like, all right, I'm in a position where I can actually like talk to these people after the show, you know, and it's like, if you don't do that at that point in your career and build that relationship with your fans, I think that's going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah. No, that's huge. I mean, your music has great vibes anyways. It's funny because this probably is more relevant to people who have, like, that darker tone. They're going to get up there and be like, I'm upset. And you're like, oh, boy. Like, all right. I probably shouldn't bother you afterwards. But, yeah, I mean, your music just has that feel good. Like, I just want to go out and hit some people up and, like, let's go to the next bar. You know? That's what your music feels like. So I love that. And did you have, like, any of, like, your earlier music, do you have any stuff, and forgive me for not knowing the whole catalog, do you have any stuff that maybe is, like, on, like, the darker side, or do you typically keep it light?
Heavy for sure. Like, I'd say a lot of my stuff is never pessimistic, but I think, you know, like, I've definitely, you know, it's not all glitter and gold, like, you know what I'm saying? I've been through depression. I've had anxiety and shit, and that definitely is topics I speak about in my music. I think as I've grown, you know, as a person, as an artist, I'm able to reflect those things truthfully in a more positive light. And, like, again, I'm an optimist, you know, so, like, I feel like I can tell you know, deeper stories in the darker side of myself in a light way now, you know, where it's very much like, you know, not a sob story, like, you know, this ain't a sob story, this a boss up, don't get it backwards, you feel me?
Okay,
like,
yeah, that's a really good perspective, and I that's something I've learned over the years and in the past is, like, I'm sure we've all done things like this where if you had something that you just didn't make you feel good, or it was embarrassing, or made you upset, and you almost try to, like, hide that or forget about it, just kind of, like, cover it from your life. But if you just completely embrace it, tell people about it, you take all the power away from the feelings it was giving you. And it's just, I've seen it with some of my, like, celebrities that I look up to. I'm like, boy, would I not want to talk about that, like what they were just talking about. But now that I know about it, now that everybody knows about it, it's like, what are you going to say to them?
Yeah.
They told you about it. So
right. Because everyone has those things, you feel me? It's like, for your shit to be known, like, man, most of the fear is, like, you know, people hearing about it or, like, you having to tell it. But it's like, yo, like, once, like, you just cool with it, like, who cares? Like, my friends all know me as, like, the unfiltered person. Like,
yeah, people
joke, like, I have no shame. Like, I'll be in public, you know, just when I touch down here, like, whenever we get back from a trip, like, as soon as I step off the bus, the train, the car, like, I'm back in my city, like, I'm yelling, like, downtown. People, like, you know, people looking, my friends like, oh my God, you know, but it's like, dog, like, I feel good, like, I'm just down to shout, like, you know, some funny shit happened to me that's like an L, you know. You know, the first people I'm running to tell is my friends. Yeah, you're never gonna believe, like, I took the fattest dub, like, you know, like, it's just like, it's funny at the end of the day. Like,
that's a good mentality, definitely.
Yeah, and if it helps anybody who's, like, worried to do it themselves, like, that's huge. That's hugely positive. If you can have any kind of influence like that. So yeah, I love that, and I appreciate you for being that way. That is good.
So we talked earlier about No Mo. That was kind of a smash record. It, you know, it had the potential to be, like, you know, a top 10 Billboard record.
Still
like
does.
That. It still does, exactly. You got to get some, like, famous TikToker to play it or something.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of, like, the pressure of time has, like, disappeared in the pandemic.
And
that's,
agree
like,
with
one
that.
thing I used to be really pressed on, like, immediate reward and gratification, like, numerically on songs, like, if the song didn't do well, then I'm like, fuck, like, now I have to do, like, you know, something else. But, like, as I'm growing and getting older, like, and I look at my catalog, and as I said, like, in regards to, like, animation, like, I put a long time into things to make sure that they last a long time.
Right.
So songs like No Mo or, like, you know, 30 Below, shit like that, like, you know, that's 2 years old. But as I grow and develop, drop more music, like,
more eyes.
You're telling me a new
that,
fan listens to my,
right,
you know, my next project and isn't like, oh, let me go peep what else he has. Like,
right.
Yes.
Boom, they got a fucking, you know, minefield of fucking hits to, like, you know, go explore. So
yeah, common misconception: music is not food. It doesn't go bad.
It doesn't expire.
Exactly.
It doesn't expire.
I like that. I like that.
We've said this before. Like, people will say they have all these unreleased tracks or, like, things that are up to the part that they want to release, but won't put it out, and that's. I mean, or sometimes it is out, but it's one of my favorite things ever to go find an artist and then be like, oh, they have all these songs on Spotify, but there's some stuff on SoundCloud that's, like, also good.
I got the SoundCloud cuts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I got mashed on there. I steal a type beat or two. I'm sorry. I credit the producers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
But
think that's.
I'm like,
generally
dog, like
accepted.
I'm just rapping for fun, bro. Like this,
Right.
like recess, man. Like let me just post this
Exactly.
on SoundCloud. Like fuck it.
Yeah, and SoundCloud's a good way to get traction too.
Yeah,
It
100%,
is.
100%. I
Also,
feel like that's a
you're not
very
really
like the
stealing.
fan. My fault, I just cut you
No,
off.
go for it.
I feel like that's very much like the fan platform. Like
Yeah.
everything else is discovery, but like
Mm.
if you're really a fan of someone, like
You follow the SoundCloud.
you peep all that shit. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Absolutely.
My fault. What was you saying?
Shit, I don't even know.
Damn,
what-
I ruined it. I ruined it. I'm
Well,
dead.
yeah, but yeah, no, it's all good. Something about finding music, but either way, it's love that stuff, and it's kind of like a treasure hunt when you go and find stuff that's not like on the official catalog.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's the
Oh,
best. So in terms of like production, I know you mentioned that we were listening to some stuff off mic. Some of it you done yourself just on your laptop. Some of it you do with producers from various locations. Do you have anything like a guy you usually go to, or do you just kind of bounce around?
Yeah, so I won't take too much credit as far as my production. Like my involvement in beats is very minimal. Like I'll do this Pauly Rev project is really like the first thing I did any like of my own like drum programming or like, you know, like real pattern shit. I did some old stuff like if you know We Could off of Lonely Mess,
Yep.
that's with Damas. Like I did some production on that pretty heavy, but yeah, a lot of my stuff is like an executive producer role where like I'm arranging things. I can get a loop and I turn that into a whole beat with different sections and breakdowns just by like taking the pieces I'm given and reconstructing. But again, that's like not always the case. I work to get to your second question, is there someone I work with frequently? My guy Frio in Iceland, I'll be dropping his name everywhere I go, but he produced Dope Deal for me. That was 2017. Since then, we made Long Winters together. Have a myriad of different style records, and we got a deep vault together.
Shout out
He's
Frio.
lived- yeah, shout out Frio. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Iceland.
Coldest in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Frio, yeah,
But-
like,
yeah.
like Spanish. For
And he's
cold?
from
Love that,
Iceland, too.
Yeah. So yeah,
Isn't
I work,
Iceland notoriously green
Yeah, and Greenland is ice.
because they wanted to trick people? to
Yeah,
go to the wrong one?
low key, I actually do think that's a fact. I've heard that a lot.
But
when
I think
when
it is
I
pretty
went there, there was some pretty icy shit too. But yeah, nah. I'm
those are
planning to
just
be
your
back
chains.
soon though, and I'm gonna work with him. That's like my go-to. Truthfully, like, you know, I got a lot of producers I love and respect and work with frequently, but Frio is like, I mean that's like one of my best friends at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
we're ridiculously close. So
That's important to have that kind of chemistry with your producer too.
yeah, I be on FaceTime with him all the time. We ain't even
Yeah.
talking music. I'm just clowning
Right.
around, fucking
Because
talking
then
shit.
it's more than just a business interaction. You're actually like, you know, vibing off each other, and it helps the project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and to quote Glasshouse, he always said like sometimes he doesn't like to work with someone he's not that comfortable with, or sometimes work alone because he makes love to the mic, and that's like not something you want to do in front of a stranger. Sometimes
hear that,
You're
I
gonna
hear
be
that.
Trying
Facts.
one thing that I'm real big on that I think financially and business wise might not even be a smart way to operate, but I never like working with people who want upfront payment. Like if it's you know, a hit song, like I could have My Next No Mo, and if the producer's like, oh, like, man, I don't want no royalties, like give me $500 up front, $1,000 up
Right.
front, I could know that song's gonna make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. I'm like,
Right.
just that person not wanting to be involved with it, it just gives it bad karma. Like that's
Yeah.
not a crewmate in Luffy's crew. You know what I'm saying?
No
like
way, yeah.
I'm like, nah, bro. Like I like working with people who like, yo, the song could get 700 views, it could get 7 million views, and you cut in for the same amount because you believe in it. And like,
Right.
you're down to throw your hat in the ring. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
No,
I don't like people who just want the cash and go. Like I never do features like that either.
Yeah.
People ask for my feature price, and I'm like, dog, like send me a record if I fuck with it. I don't care if it's your first song. I don't care if, you know, you dropped
Right.
100 songs and I don't like the other ones. Like we can do something if I like it. I don't like people valuing cash over, you know, the relationship and the actual, like, again, belief in a record. I think is big.
Yeah.
and is
You
good
want to
karma.
know that both parties involved really believe in the record, and
Yeah.
they believe it's going to succeed. And if that's the case, then they shouldn't be too worried about the money up front, like you said.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I definitely think it's short-sighted to expect like a couple bucks up front, like whether it be 500 or 1,000, even a few thousand. Like if it is something higher stakes like that, usually in like bigger studios, the production value, like it's more of an after the fact thing. So to gatekeep with like I need this much money now,
Yeah.
that's not what it's
It
about.
just limits
you know?
so much like the organic and grassroots like growth of like two people like me and Frio. This dude's in a whole other fucking country, and like he spends hours of his day focused on my vision, our vision, you know, something that came about on like a SoundCloud message or something, you know, like that's the internet nowadays though. Like that can really happen, you know, like I got heavy focus in Iceland. Like I want to like very much brand like and branch out to Iceland. Foreign markets are not targeted like
Right.
That's
when
a
you
good
when
point.
people advertising, they're like, what are my top cities on Spotify? Like, oh, LA, New York, this like
Right. Wherever
boom, I'm
you
putting
live.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like I be in Iceland. I'm about to be in Iceland more. Like I'm
Is
promoting
there
Iceland.
is
like,
there a hip hop scene in Iceland?
Yeah, I mean truthfully the language barrier is really tough because
Yeah.
they speak Icelandic, and I'm sure you can guess how many countries speak that.
Oh,
One,
boy.
you know what I'm saying? So it's tough, and it's not a Latin language, so I don't personally love a lot of it, but there are definitely a select few that I've been hip to from Frio and just, you know, over the internet that I really fuck with, and their production style is very unique. Interesting enough, you were playing that Lil Baby Joyner record. I don't actually know the name, but that was an Icelandic producer. You know, that's like
Oh, was it?
that's a tough beat. Like Danny's Calico, Frio's homie, you know, that he
Oh,
came
I
out
didn't
to
even know
Boston,
that.
stayed at my crib. Like that's an Icelandic beat, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And it has a very like unique bounce. Like when I listen to actual Icelandic music, I understand where the influence comes from that I now use, you know, over their
Okay.
production. But it's interesting. I love working with foreign producers. Like
Yeah.
I always value like overseas shit more than
So you'd say there's some
Um,
Icelandic influence in some of your music?
heavy, and that's
That's
not on
crazy.
my terms, like by
Right.
my accord. Like that's Frio's sauce. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
dope.
So what exactly? I'm like honestly not familiar. Like what is the influence? Like what is Icelandic? It's funny because certain cultures just kind of have that sound that you know.
Yeah,
Like what is Icelandic? Like what is that influence typically?
it's like it's
Is
like
it
interesting.
like horns?
It's like
I'm imagining it would be like horns or something.
nah, it's not like a specific instrument. Like it's like very sound selection based. Like they do a lot of like trap stuff, but it's like in a house way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like
Oh, that's huge.
it's like house
yeah.
sound selection, but it's like trap rhythmically. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I
There's
mean, that
definitely an
sounds like it could be
electronic
like
vibe.
really universally popular because
Yeah.
trap and house are both like, you know, that's what you throw on at a party basically.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and I think I think that Calico shit that just came out is like a very unique example. Obviously, me and Freo have mad records I can't even choose from, but like, yeah, Iceland has a sound that I think is obviously, as you can imagine, just very untapped. Like their entire country's population is what, like 300, 600,000 or something like that. Like
Is
that's
that
the
it?
city
Is
of
it that
Boston.
small?
You feel me? So it's like,
Damn.
you know,
That's crazy.
it's just like same as Boston. I mean, Boston's so untapped in the scale of the United States. Like Iceland and to the world, you know, is still far from where it will be musically, and I really believe in that
Yeah.
country. So
From a marketing perspective too, it makes a huge like it's really important like to make sense because you're probably the American, you know. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people
yeah.
hear about the American, they want to go check it out, and then like you come back and this is the American, but he's got some Icelandic influence, and now like you're in America with something unique, and there's
yeah,
something to that, and I'm sure like in terms of marketing, it makes sense because if you're just the one of a million people trying to get big in New York, like everybody's trying to
Exactly.
get big in New York, and like everyone's trying to get big in LA, and not that that's wrong, many people do it, but you got to stand out. That's like the whole thing, and everyone's talented. And we've said that a million times about Boston. You can find a ton of talented people here, but not everyone's getting that spotlight and finding not necessarily like tricks, but anything that would put you out there. And like if you have interest in working with someone from another country, that's one of those things. It just adds up. People from there hear about you. People from here hear about you, and it just all compounds. And I mean, marketing's like a whole nother thing of like the
music
game.
is strategic, man. And,
Yeah.
and I'm self-managed. I edit my own videos, and I do animation shit as well. Not all my animation. I haven't edited shit like no more. Shout out Damien. I don't know if y'all know Damien. He does a lot of stuff in Mass. He recently moved to LA. So like, I work with shooters and whatnot, but a lot of the stuff I do is you know, one-man army. Like I do it all. But you know, again, like being focused a lot on the strategy, like I still got to be the artist full time, you know, and that's like again, I said in LA, like I really like honed in on my productivity and just making more and more products, you know, that I'm able to use and make moves with.
That's
but-
great. It's good to have stuff in the clip because people sometimes you'll like put everything into one project, and that
Yeah,
might, if
that's
it's-
what I did in the past.
Yeah.
I'd have my shit set up. I'm like, word, like,
Yeah.
I know all my moves for the next 3 months. Like, and I'm like, that's like lit to me. And now I'm like, dude, I gotta have this shit planned out like years. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm at now. Like,
Do you have anything that you're gonna hold on to until you can get like those Skrelly bucks? This is something I like to talk
what's
about.
a what?
You know those secret Wu-Tang
You know
album
Martin
that sold
Shkreli?
for, like,
Oh,
10 million?
oh,
Dude
I
who
hear
bought
what
the
you're saying.
Wu-Tang
Yeah,
album.
I don't know about that. I'm not. I'll start by saying I don't listen to a ton of his music, but I love his interviews. Russ and Nipsey are like
Yes.
my
Yes.
favorite interviewers. Like, or not
I agree.
interviewers, interviewees. But like,
I agree.
for my business model, that's very much what I model it off.
Russ has it figured out. He
I
yeah,
really
love
does.
Russ.
he's
Yeah.
genius with that. Like, and it's very much his own blueprint. Like,
Yeah.
and
Fuck it,
that's
I'll
like
do
you
it
can't.
myself.
Yeah, you can't take that from him. Like, he actually does shit himself, and like
Right.
the business mind he has is like very brilliant. Like, in just the way he's come up.
I'm
But
trying to read his book. I need to
he
get
said
that.
he said he had dropped like that. I don't, it was like a single a week or something, whatever like the thing was, and then
Right.
What They Want hit off for him.
Mm.
And he said he dropped that the whole time, having already saved like his favorite 10, which was going to be his debut album, which whenever inevitably something popped off, he was going to use.
Right.
So I've
Smart.
like,
Wow.
a few songs in that regard I took from that, and I was like, word, like I got a few I want to save like for when it's like time,
yeah.
So
So
you do got the marketing strategy figured out. You're wearing every hat, dude.
yeah, I'm wearing
Production.
Boston's
Oh
Big
my
Four,
God.
man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we appreciate that in
Yeah, hell
addition
yeah.
to all of the things you're doing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's incredible.
So how'd you link up with Danny Diamonds originally? Because when I first discovered you, I think I discovered both you at the same time.
Yeah, as most do. You
And
know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
like,
At least
these two
locally.
kids, like, there's, these white kids with long hair just fucking making amazing hip hop music. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where did they come from?
Yeah,
What's the
visually
deal
and
here?
audibly, it's a different connect.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, funny enough, we went to preschool together, like way back. I have no memory of this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
But a lot of funny just similarities in our past. But yeah, we
How'd you
ended up.
figure that out? Does he remember?
Yeah, and they got like pictures on the preschool wall and shit.
Oh,
We've
man.
gone back and seen it since, which is kind of funny. But yeah, we went to high school together, and he's a year older than me, so we were on like the same football class, but we like knew each other from sports. And again, like we had both been rapping prior to high school. We've been rapping a long time, like both been doing this like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So like I knew of him, and I think he knew of me and whatnot. And I think we just like ended up getting together for like a freestyle type thing, like us two and another like rapper at my high school. And yeah, when he was over, I was like, damn, like this dude is legit. And I had all my equipment, I had all my setup. Like, I was known as like the youngin' at school who like had all the shit. Like I had
Yeah.
like senior, junior, upperclassmen rappers like coming to Chase's house because like
Oh, that's sick.
That's
he had all
fire.
his shit, and I
That's
knew how to
fire.
engineer. And like Diamonds was rapping, and I was like, all right, this kid's different. I was like, bro, like you got to record here now. And
Yeah.
so we
Man.
busted out his first project, Come Around, like was in the next like year or something.
Yeah.
Did another one, Hiatus, like a lot of his like EP stuff. I started working on my own, like Lonely Mass, and I did some songs with Robbie as well. I don't know if you would know, like I Know, Fuck That. Later, I had like Wine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, big on the high school connect. Me and Diamonds very much just like built the Golden Boy shit ground up.
How
From
did you know?
basement shows to Sinclair, Brighton, all that stuff. It's it has a nice story that I love. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
again, following interviewers, or interviews like Nipsey, Russ, like that's very much what I model my shit off. Like,
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you have, like we were talking, the real bond with him. Like you guys went
Yeah.
to school together. You're actually friends. You didn't just
we're
meet in the
disgustingly
industry.
similar. Like,
Yeah.
if you see us in
Yeah.
person, it's like hilarious that we're not.
I
Like,
could
actually related.
guess that honestly. Like
Yeah.
you're both you both really have a unique style musically, but
Yeah.
it meshes together like so well.
Yeah,
Like the singing, the rapping, the pop stuff, you both have that like unlocked pretty much.
yeah.
And how much have you pushed each other to become better?
Oh,
Since you
heavy,
met him.
heavy. I mean, like, the thing is, Diamond's a sharp critic, and I'm an asshole. So, like,
So perfect combo.
he does some shit. I'm like, man, that shit's fucking trash. You know, like, I'll say that to his face. Like, and not, I mean, he makes incredible music now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not, I rarely have to say that, but I mean, like, growing up together, like,
You
if
need
he gets
people
a tape,
around that do
yeah,
that,
You
though.
really do.
he gets a tape wrong. I'm like, man, that shit's trash. I rap a verse that's not that hot. He's like, can you write it again? You know what I'm saying? Like we always push each other like that, and I think we don't make all our music together. Like we're on few tracks together, like in the grand scheme of how much time we've like made music.
Right.
But you know, like, I think it's important that you hold each other to that standard. Like if I'm repping Golden Boy, I gotta make sure Diamond's dropping hot shit. Like if he's repping Golden Boy, like I better be coming correct, you know?
Definitely.
And people in collectives and other things, like you notice when someone let a verse slide, like one of their buddies, like, oh, like they didn't tell him what he should have heard. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's never how
not,
we roll.
That's not a good friend. You know.
Yeah,
you gotta
exactly.
You gotta tell someone when they're not reaching their potential.
Absolutely. And I was curious. So you said you had all the equipment early in high school. Like, how did you know what to get? Like, was someone helping you put that together, or did you just like lurk?
I mean, this ain't like fucking like studio. This is like,
Even
you know,
still.
like Focusrite. I probably spent I think it was like a $500 setup. I worked at an internship at like a teen center. Low key, I did a lot of artistic like studio setup, and I don't even know why I got into the gear at like a young age. But I originally, when I first was recording in high school, I mean not high school, like elementary, I'd be running around town, blue Snowball $40 mic I bought off Craigslist in my backpack and my laptop. It's a USB. I plug it in a parking garage. I'm like, check. You got like 8 echoes coming off that check, and I'm like,
That's
word,
so
it sounds
dope.
good. Like, let's get it.
Oh my God.
I'm
I
tracking,
love that.
but
I love
yeah,
that.
I stacked up my bread going into high school, and not bread. I mean, it was like I made like $1,000 for the summer, but at 13, that's bread. Like,
Oh yeah,
plenty, yeah.
I'm
At
banded, you know
13,
what I'm
that
saying?
is definitely
So
yeah.
fucking I bought like a fucking, what is it, interface, $120. Mic was like $150, and actually I don't even know if I shout these dudes out enough, but I've always been big on my networking over the internet. Like, I've grown up as an internet kid.
Yeah.
And there'd be older rappers that I would hit up for features that were, like, nice rappers that I guess haven't, like, taken off totally now. But I used to look up, be like, yo, this dude's, like, 23, 24. Like, he's spitting crazy. Like, and I'm, like, 13, 14-year-old me sending him a trash open. Like, it's garbage. Like,
Yeah.
not in his best interest to hop on it. But, like, a few dudes over the internet, what was his name? Frank Zoo. I think this dude's from Boston. I don't know if he lives here no more. And I don't know how much he's dropped since. Frank, there's another dude like Just Rise, or I don't even know, like just dudes on the internet that would like just send me high quality vocal recording verses at a young age, where I'm like recording in like a restaurant bathroom, like real talk. Like I've done that. Like, and I'd hit him back, be like, yo, like, one, like, you body me, like, two, like, how do you get it to sound like this? And they'd be like, yo, I bought this, and this. I start doing my research, and, you know, I get into high school at, 13, 14 or something, you know, and I come in with all my equipment. We got a lot of rappers and talent, and it's like, yo, but no one is like mad, you know, everyone wants to be the best rapper, but like the steps to get there, not everyone is always focused on.
No,
But
yeah,
I was
yeah.
always like very determined to do that, because I
And
was
that's-
not the best rapper. Like,
But that's a young age to figure that out. Like
Yeah,
13 to
heavy.
14 to be the guy with all the equipment.
To be honest, it took me a few years to even know how to get what these things are.
Right.
Like, I was just kind of, I had a USB
There's
microphone.
people in their
at one
20s
point.
still figuring that shit out. So
Yeah.
I think the fact that you attacked that part first, and you focused on the quality first, you know, before you got your craft down, I think that's important. Because
I've always, my fault.
When you finally get your stuff sounding the way you want it to sound, you want the quality to be there already.
I've always believed in my hustle more than my talent. Like, I mean, dog, I made like 100-something songs before the first one you can find on my SoundCloud. You know, like genuinely, like hundreds. You know, like.
So you were just making them and not releasing them?
Yeah, I mean, I put out some shit on SoundCloud, but I didn't even want to drop no names, because if that gets dug up on the internet, it's not a good look.
It's
you know what I'm
over.
saying? Yeah, it's not a good look. But fucking it was just, I always like had to hustle and like was more focused on refining my skill, because I never believed I was talented, which I guess like now people would scoff, be like, bro, like you making all the shit, like you can't like chalk it up to that, but like
that's a testament to your practice, though, because you know you had room to learn at the time, and like you see, like we've made this comparison many times, like athletes, you just looks like you could be able to do what they're doing, but you don't understand like the time and hours it took to like get that pitch perfect, to get that throw perfect, to get that like squat perfect. And it's the same with music. You think like that's just their voice, they're making that sound, anyone can make a sound, you know, but it's
it takes
you
a lot.
honed that skill.
And I'm far from my peak, but like far from my peak, and I know that, and I love that. but I'm way past 10,000 hours. Like, you know, I started recording myself at age 11. Like I'm 22 now, or 21 again. 2020 didn't count. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I've been putting time, and like that's what makes shit sound good. It's not like Dot was just nice with it, but like my hustle to like get equipment at a young age, and like, you know, I was running around like Austin, you know, popping into Wings Over Brookline, being like, yo, bro, you be rapping? Like, you trying to hop a feature? Bro clocks out on his break, and we literally record like one of the first features on my first tape, like in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's fine.
Shout out Wings Over, by the way. They got great
killed
food.
it.
Yeah.
But it was like that kind of hustle that I think put me around more talented people, or at the time farther skilled, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, because that's kind of the Levi Strauss theory, where like during the gold rush, everyone's going to mine for gold. Not everyone's going to get gold, but everyone needed pants, and he sold them pants.
I hear that.
Like, you know, and you're around there with the equipment, you're going to be around all the people that are trying to hit, and eventually that either rubs off or you get better too, and like everything just, it's a great spot to be in.
Yeah.
So if you're young right now, get the equipment, Focusrite, microphone, just do it. XLR, learn about it.
Yeah. Studio time is not worth the investment. I'll say that. Like, you can invest in studio time once you know how to operate without it. Like, too many people be like rushing right to the studio. Yeah. They come home with one song, and they're not even looking over the shoulder learning anything. Like, all the studio time I spent,
take a picture and post it on their Instagram.
Yeah, like
story
anytime
say, I'm in the studio.
Anytime I've been in the studio, like I'm sitting right next to the engineer, like watching everything. Like I'm telling Robbie, like, yo, what'd you just do? Like, teach me this or that. Like, I'm not saying I can go do that at home, but like,
you
I very much
and
like I'm very involved with it. You know, like I can record myself, send it in, and like y'all are not gonna notice on Spotify. Like whether that was in the studio or at my crib. You know, like people gotta learn to do that shit.
Yeah.
Too many people jump into something with no will or desire to learn. And then it's like, well, yo, that's going to cost money. And if you don't have the money, then, like, learn it. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. You know what's funny? Some people are probably even going to lose the value of that because there's plugins out there that will automate your EQ. They'll automate your compression and stuff. And it does all right. But, like, if you're an actual engineer who knows what parts to find, you do it in sections. Like, it's huge. That's a big thing. And it's good that you thought about it. I mean, a lot of people kind of and it's interesting too because we've had other people mention like knowing your role. Like some people are the lyricists, so they're writing all the lyrics and they'll vibe to the beat. But somebody else, they're all production, you know. And that makes sense too. And eventually, it probably does boil down to that. If you're going to put out like a studio album that's going to be on the radio or something, there probably is somebody dedicated for each of those roles. But then again, I shouldn't speak for everybody. I don't really know how.
I think
works.
that's important. Like before I was 17, like I recorded and mixed, put out like a lot of things that, I like engineered and did, like Diamond's early stuff. Even, recently Mile High on the last project I did, the Pauly Rev shit, like that's a me and Frio mix, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like a skill I had, but I gotta say, like, I'm super grateful that at a young age, shout out to TF Champ, like this is like my first manager in the collective I was a part of. He put me in like a studio, and I told Robbie this, but like when I first got to Robbie's studio and I'm like a junior in high school, I'm like, yo, like I'm in the major leagues right now. Like this is my first at bat at like a real plate, like this is like the studio. I've never been outside of my, bedroom setup where I'm recording under a blanket just for like, soundproof. So having that opportunity to like see the real deal before I had gotten there myself. Yeah. Crazy big learning experience. And then having like the radio quality of someone filling that role, although I was still learning and like, pushing to do that myself, but having Robbie at such a young age where I'm coming back to school, I'm sitting down in class, like playing my new music, and that shit sound like a Drake song, or like,
hell yeah,
like sound like 40 mixed it, I'm like, that's like a big, you can rap nice, but like when people hear that, like it's immediately taken far more seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
So now I got a follow-up on this. You mentioned that your shows are schlitty, and I want to know. I want to know, when did you have your first show that you were like, this is poppin', this show is amazing, and what is the craziest thing that's ever happened at one of your shows that we can talk about?
That we can talk about.
Yeah, hey, there's probably crazy things. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the first real show was like the first show. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, me and Diamond, as I said, we'd spent mad time over like a year recording his like first project. that was called Come Around on SoundCloud. Still smacks to this day. Y'all should check it out for sure. Like,
Yeah, I got it.
dead ass. Like, it's like you could see the talent from a young age. But one of my homies, like our like mutual friend, had like a basement near my school, and I was like, yo, let's throw a release party for Diamond's tape. And we're like, word, I bought like a couple Shure SM58s. I bought the Yamaha shit or whatever you got this plugged in right now. Like, I went, bought the setup, fucking, I think I invested in like some, $10 LED strip, like the corny ass shit you see in like a frat boy's dorm room. Like, I just like got that shit.
They work.
Yeah, that was like the stage lighting, like pimped out this basement. We're thinking like capacity is like 50 people. We got like maybe 30 heads in a Facebook group where we're like, yo, the first Golden Boy show is like popping off, yada yada.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, I think doors open. It's just a garage door, but like 30 minutes till open, I'm sitting on like a washer dryer in the backstage, like freestyling with Diamonds and Kai. If y'all know Kai, he was opening up this like his first show as well.
Okay.
And we got like a line down the driveway. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Do you guys charge?
yeah, we did charge, bro. We did charge.
Hustling. Love
Let's
that.
go.
Of course. So yeah, we charged fucking, I think it was like $10 something, $5, I don't know. We ended up with 110 people crammed into like a tiny basement, like jam packed.
Damn.
And there was no like route to the stage other than through the crowd. So like
Oh, man.
my first moment, like really going up to stage, is like me and Diamonds coming out with like a couple girls from like the back room thing. Like everyone's like, oh, make way. Like we're like pushing through a crowd. I'm wearing like we're both wearing all white fits. I'm in like my mom's like Land's End jacket. Like this ain't even like this is like a female coat. I'm looking fucking popping. I got like my hair in like a little
That's a hot
pineapple
style
bun.
these
That's
days. You were
fine.
ahead
I
of
was
your
That's
time.
I was
fine.
ahead of the time, bro.
Yeah,
and like
that's
we're like parting the sea like some Moses shit. Again, I got like 3 songs out at this point, and I'm like,
Damn.
oh.
You
We're
made it.
doing it. We're
Yeah.
doing it. And it was
Damn.
hilarious. The moment where I knew that I was just like, yo, I'm doing this the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
I already wanted to, but I was like, where I like knew, like, this is for me. Like, I come in and open up my song. It's Georgia. It's like a flip. Kai produced it. It's a flip of Georgia on My Mom by Ray Charles.
Yep.
And I'm rapping the verse, and I never forget my lyrics. Like, I know all my lyrics from way back to now, like, by heart. I'm rapping my lyrics. I get so excited, I fuck up the verse. And I'm like the first song on me and Diamond's set. I
Does
fuck
the
up
crowd
the verse.
know this though? Because 99% of the time, I bet they don't even notice.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
you
I
vibe
just
to
started
the-
freestyling. Like, I just started
Oh,
freestyling
shit,
instead.
okay.
And it comes into the hook, and I say, man, fuck it if y'all know it. And boom, the hook comes up. Whole shit starts singing my shit.
Wow.
And I don't even like this song that much. Like, it's just like my song right now.
So did you have no idea that you had that much of a following already? Like you didn't know that many people were gonna show up, know your lyrics?
Again, like I know a lot of these people, so like
Yeah.
it's like a lot of friends, but like for people to like take me, like not just support me.
That
'cause,
showed
like,
they
yo,
were
that's
actually
my guy.
consuming the like
But it's like,
digesting
yo,
the
this
music.
shows that
Yeah.
you actually like have spent some time to listen
Right.
to it. Like that was like, and everyone sings my lyrics. I'm like, damn. Like, I mean, honestly, they read Charles' lyrics, but it's in the flip sense. I was like,
Right.
damn. Like that just like hit me so crazy. That was like the biggest high I'd ever felt. You know what I'm saying? Like that hit
Right.
bigger than any trip, any fucking blunt, anything. Like that just hit, and I was like, yeah, like I'm chasing this for sure. So. Yeah, that was me and Diamond's first big thing in the basement. And, from there we went to Middle East downstairs. Again, I'm still like 17. That's like
Oh my
that's still a
God, you
big
were-
venue now,
That
know,
must
like
have been an issue getting in, right? Because it's like they were probably.
I think
looking
it was
for
all
ID.
ages. It was all ages, but
Oh, okay.
that shit was with Kai Diamonds. Like, we I think we ended up doing Brighton. I opened up with Diamonds again for Kai. Fucking, and since we've gone to headline our own venues like Sinclair, Brighton since, but yeah, I mean, again, like it just starts like real grassroots with people I'm genuinely friends with, and the next show they'll bring a friend that I don't know.
Right.
The show after that person brings a couple friends, like,
Yeah.
and it just grows from there. So
So you did a show at the Sinclair with 99 Neighbors, right?
yeah,
How'd
yeah,
you link
was-
up with them? Because they're from Vermont, correct?
Man, I'm a SoundCloud hustler, bro. I told you.
Yeah.
Like, everyone I met, Kai, same thing. Like, I think I found this dude, off some mutual connect on SoundCloud. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, like, I heard him play this beat. Like, let me get this beat. He's like, word. Same thing with 99. I was actually coincidentally coming back from Vermont on a bus. I've been visiting my boy up at Middlebury, where me and Diamonds performed January 2018. And I was on the bus back, like, on another Vermont trip, like, a couple months later. And shout out Kurt Stewart. This dude actually is a nice producer. He had like reposted something. He was like following me and Diamonds Heavy at the time, and he reposted something from '99. I think it was like Dumbo by Hank Native, and I listened to it and I was like, all right, that's pretty tight. Like, let me check out the rest of this shit. I fell into just like a wormhole of their page, and I was like, yo. And so I hit him up on SoundCloud. I think I just dropped No Mo like that week. So great time to make a new connect.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And I hit up, I think it was the producer Samba or something. I was like, yo, like, y'all are ridiculous. Like, let's lock in. And I got their numbers. Like, it wasn't like nothing crazy right away, but we ended up starting to talk, like send some things back and forth. And then we really like connect on a show basis of doing me and Diamonds did Middle East Upstairs, sold that out. They had sold something out. I think it was like Arts Riot. I don't want to quote that, but like whatever venue in their local area that was a similar size. Yeah.
They've had some crazy shows there.
Crazy. They're
crazy.
Oh, incredible. And they invited us to open up for like a run of shows they had like planned, and we'd be headlining Sinclair back in Boston. So that was like our real like, you know, get together. And one of my, you know, closest and, you know, favorite, you know, professional but personal relationships I made through music is with them. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was one of the first real times outside of my relationship with Diamonds, and Diamonds as well outside of our relationship, that we really felt like the pressure of competition. And like, we're like, oh, like, you know, these boys legit, like,
Right.
they're performing. I'm taking notes, bro. Like,
Yeah.
they're crazy live, and that was, you know, did wonders for my showmanship, you know, going forward. And since then, like, they're a good time, dude. And
Yeah, and it's crazy what they're doing, and I feel like not a lot of people around the Boston area even know about them because they're up in Vermont. So I feel like it's dope that you and Diamonds kind of connected with them. So you're kind of like their connection to Boston. Like, they
Yeah,
come
hell
down
yeah.
and do shows
And
with you guys.
they showed us a great time in Vermont too. So like,
Yeah.
I feel you know, I'm not at home, but like I feel real comfortable in Burlington now. Like,
Right.
that's always been a good time. I usually end up shit faced
Yeah.
every
And
time.
Burlington's a pretty poppin' city, actually.
Yeah,
There's
it's
like
so tight, bro.
right.
It's so
There's like a
tight.
lot of young people out there,
Yeah.
a lot of
I
parties.
think it's because it's so far out there. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like 5 hours from here to Burlington, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So
once
we'll-
you're up there, that's where it is. Like, I think
Right.
so. Anyone in that area goes to Burlington, and
Right.
that's like, I mean, it is a great
They
spot.
got-
so it totally makes
they
sense.
got isn't there a college there?
Is it?
UVM.
UVM's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
so-
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanna-
Burlington feels like, it's not the best comparison, but just for Boston is the only one I can make. It just feels like Alston was just like picked up.
Mm-hmm. And
All
moved to Vermont.
All the rats and shit fell off. All the trash on the sidewalk fell off, like in the transportation of it. And then it was just plopped down middle of nowhere, Vermont. And now
Yeah.
it's just popping with like
yeah.
artsy ass shit, skateboarders, music, graffiti shit. Like
Yeah, there's a
the
lot
fashion
going on.
shit they got up there is crazy. Like
The people I know from Vermont wear bright pastels. I'm loving
really,
those
okay,
colors.
that's a
Yeah.
different. Maybe that's a different Vermont.
Yeah.
But Burlington's tight. Like of like one of one pieces and like real artsy kids. Like
Yeah.
shout out Speak. Fucking Speak is a monster. He does like custom stuff. Candy Paint is like a resale business up there. I be getting mad at my shit from Vermont, honestly.
Word,
Like since
shout
I've
out
been to
Vermont.
Burlington, I've been getting mad at my drip from there, low key.
Shout out Vermont.
Yeah, big
What's
shout
their
out
What's
Vermont.
their state name?
That's a good question.
Vermont, what you
Isn't it
mean?
No,
the
the-
Green
the-
Mountain State or
The
something?
nickname.
The Mountain State. That,
The
might-
mountain.
that
the
sounds familiar.
Green Mountain State. I
well,
think it's Green Mountain
Vermont
State.
isn't that like French for like Green Mountain? I
Oh,
thought.
now you're way ahead of me. I don't know.
Because like
That makes sense though.
It does make sense.
what
I know
is-
they have good maple syrup and cheddar
Yeah.
cheese. So.
Viridian City. Now I'm getting the ver. It means green, and Mont
Okay.
gotta be mountain. You feel me?
Pull it up. What do we got?
Vermont is known as the Green Mountain State.
Yeah.
Let's
There
go.
we go.
Let's
way
go.
out
There we go.
here.
We're
Killed it.
educated.
Man,
Yeah,
Boston
we're
Big
smart.
Four in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? Big brain.
Sound off in the comments if you think we're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? Fun fact about Vermont. One time I was up there, I went to a winery. It was right. I think it was. Honestly, I'll put it in the in this video like comments or something. But I've tried an ice wine, and if you guys know about this, they freeze the grapes when they harvest them, and it tastes like juice. It just tasted like grape juice, and it was wine, and I couldn't believe it.
That's
But it's
pretty
not
cool.
like slushy, like it's fully liquid.
Yeah, fully liquid, but it's
Huh.
so it's not frozen when I guess it's served cold, but it just preserves the flavor of the grapes, I guess, because when they get fermented and stuff, it just becomes bitter. But when they freeze them first, it comes out perfect, and I couldn't believe it. It was
I'm gonna have to
expensive.
try that.
It was like $70 for a little bottle, but it was so
I'll have to try that
good.
later. I'll have to try that. I'll try that some other time. But yeah, I got you.
One day, yeah. So yeah, anyone's up in Vermont. I'm sure it's other places, but that's where I found it.
Yeah, that's
So,
fly.
Fire.
Good stuff.
Let's play a song.
Oh yeah.
No bandana or no.
No bandana.
I was gonna say I pronounced it wrong.
Yeah, Loki. People be clowning me when I say that. They say, no,
Bingo.
what the fuck
I
is
heard
a
you
bandana?
say that earlier. I was like, oh shit, I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, no bullshit.
All right, let's play No Bandana then, off of the Pauly Rev mixtape,
Yes,
the new
sir.
project. Video out now.
Video
Peep
out
it.
now.
Peep it.
Yeah. Stimmy. I got my big boy pants on. Gucci belt to pull my pants up. Ain't no Roosevelt, I got Franklin's on me. Hammer tuck, you really can't touch. I can bring like college campus. Fuck a $250,000 advance, never fall for propaganda. Golden boy, the co-commander. Rubber bands, I brought the bands up. Built the brand, I got the fan buzz. I'm the man up with the plan trust. Every line I move, Amanda. My shit dope, no cocaine, Now to your head like okay, yeah. My new girl go both ways. My whole fit from Dolce Gabbana. Ain't no bandana, I'm with the gang. Yeah. If you want the drama, I got the thing.
Pauly Rev, the mixtape.
And that was No Bandana.
No,
No
you gotta clap, bro. You
bandana.
gotta clap, man.
It's true. I should have clapped. I'll see it.
We're gonna clap
I'll
right
see
now.
it.
All right, see, that was terrible. That's gonna do the opposite. That's not helping.
Now we
timing at all.
got 3 claps to line up the video
Man.
to the audio.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna love it.
No
Sound like a strip
bandana.
club, man.
It's
No
not
bandana.
bandana. All
No,
right, for
no.
those of you uncultured fucks at home, it's bandana.
That's the only way to say it. Don't even. If you're not gonna say it that way, don't say it at all. you feel me?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's bandana because it fit
It
the
just
rhyme.
rhymes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And once I said, if
So now you've made up your own word.
yeah, if the hook of the song is no bandana, and then
Right.
it was my song no bandana, that don't make no sense, man.
Right.
I
No,
said no
I feel you.
bandana. Like
I
if I
feel
want
you.
people to sing along with it.
If you call it no bandana, it
Yeah.
means you haven't listened to the song
Yeah,
yet.
and if you went into the atmosphere of a show or something, being like, yo, no bandana, you hadn't heard it,
Right.
you're not gonna notice saying no bandana. So you
Right.
got to get that off the rip, man. When you read
Right.
the title, that's what you got to think.
Say it right.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted, man. And when I say, you know what they call me, man, if you don't know what they call me, you either ask what it is or don't say it at all, man. It's Pauly Rev, you know what I'm saying? Sweet Tool, dope dealer, host stealer, man.
Love that.
Yeah.
Pauly Rev. So where the influence behind that name come from? Pauly Rev.
I'm actually glad you asked that. I'm surprised we
Okay.
even went this far without me talking about it. I didn't even
Right.
think about it.
It's
till
a
now,
very
but-
Massachusetts title.
Yeah, which
so.
is obvious, you know,
Right.
which is why. But I think on a larger scale, I'm not like some history buff. I don't know the whole Midnight Ride
Yeah.
how it went. You know what I'm saying? But
We actually had a guy on recently, a comedian who dresses up as Paul Revere and does tours on the Freedom Trail.
Yeah,
I'm
we were
dead.
asking him stumpers, and yeah, he said that the old day Boston accent is more like the current, or Old English is more like a current Boston accent. It was confusing how he.
Paul Revere had a Boston accent,
yeah,
is
like
what he
it
told
sounded
us,
like how we talk,
which
I
I
guess,
didn't
but
know.
yeah.
Wow.
But anyways, sorry to
So,
cut you
fun
off.
fact.
yeah, no. Damn. So yeah, nah. I just like, what I'm striving to be is like, a revolutionary figure in the Massachusetts music scene. You know,
Word.
like Boston is very like underground as a whole. In the country as we've spoken about. So like, I wanna be that leading face, and I think Pauly Rev just to me is like an alias. It just embraces like the confidence, the leader of the pack. The militant man. I'm down to go to war for this shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
obviously the little ponytail shit, is a fun little comparison, but
Right.
yeah, it's just like, man, you know what they call me, you know what I'm saying? But fucking Pauly Rev.
Pauly, has that been a nickname of yours, like for a while? Or?
So that's the thing. If you ask any of my homies, like, yo, you actually call him this shit? The fucking all these things? They be like, man, ain't nobody fucking calling him that. But nah, it's official, man. Like that's why I had to do
Now
that cover art.
Now
You
they
seen
do.
that cover art? Now people call him. You know, that's like
Right. Now
look
you're
at Lil
Pauly Rev.
Wayne. All right, he got Weezy F Baby. He got Tunchi, Birdman Jr. You know,
Yeah.
fucking. He got all those things. Like there was a song or a moment in time that
Nobody called him
solidified that.
those things until he called himself
Exactly.
those
You know what I'm
things.
saying?
Right.
So that's what it is, man.
Right.
Fucking, you know, dope dealer, host stealer. I already certified that, man. That's been in stone. You can't
Right.
tell me they didn't call me that. They called me that, man. Pauly Rev, you know, in a year, people gonna say, "Hey, Pauly," I'm gonna say, "Man, what I tell y'all,
Word.
man."
Yeah, walking around the airports, you just see, yo, Pauly Rev.
Exactly,
That's what's gonna
exactly.
happen.
It got a nice ring to it, man.
Yeah,
do.
it does.
You know
it
what's
really
funny?
does.
I've not seen it spelled out. I thought you were saying Poly Rev. I'm like, are you
Wow,
a
that's
multiple
interesting.
revolutionary? I was
Yeah.
like, you doing different
It's
revolutions?
interesting. Obviously, you know, Pauly is not Paul and Rev is not Revere, and it's interesting that people like, you know, don't always make that connection off the rip. I was
Yeah.
talking to my homie who helped me with this rollout, Johnny Mass. Shout out Johnny Mass. And he was like, "Yo, like you think people out of state are gonna like understand what the fuck Pauly Rev, like who that, like what is like." You still got to put on Chase Murphy. And I said, no, watch this. He had his roommate or like whoever in the crib. Like I'm on FaceTime with him. He's like, yo, like what's the first thing you think of when I say Pauly Rev? He's like, I don't know, Paul Revere or something.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And I was like,
There you
yeah,
go.
and they're in New Orleans. I'm like,
Hey.
bitch, it's official, man.
Every kid learns about Paul Revere in
yeah,
school.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Like you
we all know about him.
Yeah.
And when you see the picture with the hat on, like you know, you make the connection.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
So-
exactly. But
But
yeah,
I
mean, that's
mentioned
Pauly.
earlier when I heard the project, it's like most of the songs are short, right? Less than 2 minutes.
Yeah,
And I was like, this kind of feels like an appetizer. Like I feel like there's something
yes, sir.
something big is coming.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us? You played some songs for us earlier.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about what's coming in the next
I don't want to announce
year or
any
so?
names or titles or anything. I want my
Okay.
focus to be on what I got right now.
Right.
But in the coming weeks, I'm gonna have a hometown hot shot video,
Right.
corporate video, which I've been dying to release. I'm stoked about that one.
Are you in an office?
I am in the office. You know what I'm saying? Big boss man, fucking
Love
boss
that
man,
stuff.
Pauly.
Boss man Pauly.
Yeah, but that those are both gonna serve as my directorial debut for my own videos.
Word.
I have an editing visuals alias, and this is not, you know what they call me, but I have a business, Happy Belated, which I do visual work for artists and photos and whatnot. I did Uno Reverse for Landon Sears. I don't know if y'all would know him or see that, but so this has been like my first real swing at fully directing and editing my own music videos and just like grabbing the reins on my visuals as my brand. I feel like the more control you have over your artwork in its entirety, the more directed it actually comes from your imagination and
Right.
is like true to
Facts.
your own personal individual art. So I'm trying to like have that 100% down. So yeah, I got those videos coming, and this summer, man, we going pop. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming for radio.
All right.
Big talk, man. Big
Yo,
talk.
Bieber, he's coming
Yeah,
for you.
Bieber, I'm coming for you, man.
Yeah. Where do you
Fucking-
get your peaches?
Yeah. Georgia on my mind, man. Come on.
Oh, that's
There
a
you
crazy
go.
connection.
There you go.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm
Whoa.
saying?
Wow, that was crazy full circle. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. On Boston's Big Four. You
Yeah.
dig?
Yes, sir. So we got some big pop records coming this summer.
Hell yeah.
That summer's the time to drop the pop records.
That's why I've been
Yeah,
saving them. I had
right.
a couple for last summer, but I was like,
Right.
nah, I feel like ain't nobody outside right now. So
Exactly. No,
Yeah,
last
this
summer
time-
wasn't the time. If you had some like real hits in the vault, last summer wasn't the time
not
to drop
the time.
them.
Yeah.
You got to hold them.
Now I got my shot. You know what I'm saying? Some people opening up.
There you go. How many
No.
shots? No, we won't talk about
No, I got I got one
got
right now.
one.
Second on the way, man. You know what
that. Yeah,
I'm
me
saying?
too. Me
Dropping
too. We're
second
getting
shot
there.
dropping soon. You feel
Second shot dropping soon.
me? Yeah.
So do you have any, are there any people in the Boston area or anyone that you've met in LA? Like, are there collaborations that you either aspire to have or you're working on right now that you can speak of? I'm not trying to milk you with everything, all the secrets.
Yeah, I definitely got some shit in LA that I'm stoked about, and like it just feels nice, like being able to compete at like a high level simply off the music, like not even like no crazy numbers or stats to put up, but just like I hit play on my records and people are like, word, like yeah, let's get a song or such and such. So I got some shit in LA I'm looking forward to. Obviously back home, I got some stuff with Diamonds that should roll out I don't know about this summer, but in the coming year, 100%, me and Dom has always got some shit in the vault. Swooly, I need a record with Swooly. I told you about
Shout
him
out
earlier, but I do a lot of my shows with him, and I still haven't got like an official record with him yet. He's in Boston as well.
Whose fault is it? Is it yours or his?
Damn. So we on air, so I'm gonna say Swoo. You know what I'm saying? But no,
It's your fault.
it's probably both of us, man. I mean that's how music go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone busy and everyone doing their own shit. You know.
Right.
And I never, no shade to anybody, but I never prioritized collaborations. Like
Right.
I very much
If
love
it's meant to
making-
happen, it'll happen. Eventually,
Yeah, exactly.
Organically.
So, but yeah, I love to just work with people I'm close to already. I'm not gonna drop no like Drake. I need this or that. Like
Yeah.
I want to get some more records with Diamonds. I want to work with Swoo, 99, fucking Landon. Just like
Hell yeah.
people
That's what we'd
people I'm
rather
already
hear.
cool with. I just need more records with. Like those are the people I fuck with and
Right.
have fun with. So
And you're all coming up together, so it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're
I
all-
feel
you're
like,
all benefiting each other when you work together.
it's like watching a new generation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
Yeah, it
Facts.
definitely feels better. The big collabs are nice, but it's they're already big, so
Yeah.
it's like that's cool too. But
It's like it's a validation thing. It feels
Yeah.
good, like knowing you're like able to do that. But at the end of the day, like I'm a huge fan of all the people I just listed. Like I
Right.
listen to their music, so like
Right.
I'd rather get in early, man. Like I know Diamond's gonna blow. Like I know it's
Right.
really gonna blow.
Oh,
so
facts. Facts.
fuck it, man. You feel me? But yeah, I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Lots to look forward to.
I keep picking this up. There ain't even no water. I drank all the agua. You feel
I
me?
got a fresh one
That's-
right here.
Oh, with the re-up,
Boom.
man.
Look
we
at
out here.
that.
Big
we
bottles.
Never,
you
we
feel
never
me?
run out of H2O at
Boston's big
Four.
bottles. We're
Yeah,
out
boss
here.
is
Yeah.
big bottles around here.
All you gotta
man.
do is say the word, and we got them.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a wrap. I think
That was abrupt, but I think that might be a wrap though. I
Yeah.
think that might
Well,
be a
you know
wrap.
what?
that was
Before we-
abrupt.
before
I'm
we
known for my
officially-
abrupt endings.
Before
Actually,
we
that's not
officially
the
wrap
first
up,
time.
I do have a question that I like to ask everybody. You can feel free to tell me to lump off, but who do you think? Like, it doesn't have to be Boston or LA. Like, who? I mean, sounds like your boys are your. I was gonna ask who's your favorite artist and who's your least favorite artist that you've worked with in the area.
Wow, why the fuck would you ask that, bro?
That's what I'm saying.
Damn.
It's been my thing lately. I'm asking everyone who they don't like. It's not a great question because no one has answered
What, you
it
just
yet.
trying to start beef, bro? I thought it was
Exactly.
Some communal shit,
Right,
bro.
that's
You-
what I'm saying.
You out here causing war.
It's-
You
yeah.
ask
Oh,
other people this.
They're fun jabs.
He asks everybody this.
I've been
Nobody
asking
answers it
everybody
though.
lately. It
Wow.
could
He
be the
still
first.
keeps asking.
Yeah.
My favorite person to work with around here, fucking
Danny Diamonds.
Yeah, I mean,
This is what I was thinking. Yeah.
I'd say least because we don't drop as much as we should. We got so many smacks that never come out.
Oh, okay.
That's on both of us, though. That's on both of us. But I'll try and just name drop someone new, just for the sake of I've been talking about him and everyone else all day. I love working with Guy Claude, if you know him. He's in Family Famous with Clark D.
Okay.
feel like
I know Clark D, but I haven't heard of
Yeah,
him.
it's
I
his
gotta
brother. It's
tap
his older
into it.
brother.
Oh,
Anytime
alright.
we touch something, it's butter. Like I just hit him today. Honestly, on my way here, I'm trying to lock in with him, but
Word.
he produces, sings, crazy voice, crazy singer. But yeah, he produced and did all the guitar, and we could same background
Okay.
vocals on that.
Okay.
I got
I
a
love
song
that track.
Ride that's on SoundCloud. Like some people might know that one. But yeah, I'm trying to lock in with him soon. Honestly, out here, so I'd say that's one of my favorite people to work with locally. And least favorite, I mean, you just starting shit, but
Yeah.
fuck it.
Whoever
Yeah.
you want to say. It doesn't have to be anybody.
No, that means I ain't saying shit, man. Why
Yeah,
you why you pressing, bro? Damn.
We've had one person answer the question, and then they hit us up afterwards telling us to
Cut
take that
that.
part
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, you starting war, bro. Calm down.
So yeah, eventually, if you really want to know my goal, I'm exposing myself. I just want to do a super clip of me all the times I asked. And
Wow, and just like
So that's what this is about.
monster
Okay.
beef compilation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what this is
Wow.
about.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
I've been
that's-
rejected every time. I'm just getting used to
Yeah.
the rejection. It's okay.
Hey, man. I admire your persistence.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, it's funny because off mic, I'm blowing up his spot. Jack thinks it's a good idea. He
What?
says I should keep.
No,
he thinks I
no.
should keep
His
asking
face
No,
went
questions.
cold. He
That's
said,
not true. That's not
"Wow,
And,
wow."
yeah, he's lying on air.
Yeah.
It's all right. But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Do you have any
appreciate
to
it,
have
man.
me.
Media
Long,
plugs?
long time overdue, man. Y'all been showing
Yes.
love for a minute.
Long time. We've been bumping
Yeah.
you since. I remember I played No Mo on the podcast, like around the time it came
Yeah,
out. So
I
it's
said
been
to
a
you
while.
before, but like when me and 99 had that show, I had some snippet I had
I
heard
remember you
of.
sent that to me recently.
Yeah,
I was
I-
like, that's so
Yeah,
fire.
I didn't
Like, I had no idea.
I didn't even realize that was you until you said something earlier in the podcast. Where you're like, "Oh, and tell me about Sinclair with 99 neighbors." You said it the exact way, and I was like, "Yeah, that was him, bro." Like, yeah. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me, showing all the love, man. And
Do you have any social media plugs or website? Anything you want to plug?
whew,
Chase
social
Chowder.
media, you can find me at Chase Chowder. That's
So why
Chase
is it
like the
Chase?
bank.
Why is it Chase Chowder?
Man, why you fucking
Because Boston.
interrupt my whole fucking plug, man?
Boston Chowder.
No, but I was about to say chowder
My
like
bad.
Boston clam chowder.
Okay,
you know what
my
I'm saying?
bad.
That was part of my pitch.
My bad.
But no, I've been, as I said earlier, I've been an internet kid, so I've had a screen name since very young. And I don't know if I've actually said this out loud before, but my sister, who's 5 years older than me, 4.5, she was Swedish Soup. That was like her screen name. She used to be like doing digital art and like selling artwork online. She's actually crazy talented at it. She got hacked or something. Then she was Scandinavian stew. I don't know, staying on brand.
Yeah.
My little ass, I'm probably like 8 years old. I'm like, yo, like I'm about to sign up for such and such website. What do I use my screen name? And she's like, oh, well, you got to stay on brand, like in the family, which is just some shit she made up.
Right.
She's like, you'll be Chase Chowder, so it's like similar to the soup shit.
That's
I'm like,
dope.
all right, word. I made that shit. I'm at the age where like, you know, dude hits me like, yo, I'm an admin. What's your password? I'm like, oh, it's this. You know, like I was
Yeah.
that young, but since then I've had Chase Chowder forever, and it's a lot
that's
easier
dope.
to have Chase Chowder on every platform than my ass buying fucking Chase Murphy handle from, you know,
Yeah.
Twitter user in 2011 or whatever. You feel me?
Right,
So
right.
it's Chase Chowder, right? That's Chase like the bank, Chowder like Boston clam chowder,
there you go.
right?
Love
There you
that.
go.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, I think that's a wrap. Thank you for
That's
coming
a wrap.
on.
That-
That's
now it's a
That's
wrap.
a less abrupt rap. All right.
Now it's a wrap.
Hey,
we
man.
appreciate you coming out here all the way down to Western Mass.
Western Mass, man. Anything
We're
outside
actually
of
on the South
Boston,
Shore,
I'm
but-
sorry.
Yeah,
Western
love
Mass.
that.
It is what it is, man.
All right, signing off.
Episode 90. We out.
But we keep it 100.